Yes.
Okay.
Right there on the left of the way.
Can I get a pin? Once I get to something.
Let's turn this on.
That's good.
Get your recording. We're recording. All right, we're recording here as well.
Okay. All right, we are August 15th at 7 p.m. Village of Minerva Park Council meeting. Starting with roll call, we have Council President Wolf,
Here.
Councilperson Bruger,
Here.
Councilperson Cameron,
Present.
and Councilperson Koss.
Present.
And Councilperson Shrestha and McNamara are excused. And let's do Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We have August 11th council meeting minutes to approve.
Move to approve.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay. I love to admit when I'm wrong and I do crazy, silly little things. So we're just going to go with, there is a correction to the non-voting member of planning and zoning. I called him another resident. I just wasn't thinking. He's the person we talked to about electric, and so I did. Tommy Grant is actually the planning and zoning new member. He sent me an email, of course, it just is what it is. So, it is in fact Tommy Grant. Tommy Grant is the person that, so I would actually like to, could we just change it? You guys want to do like a motion?
Just making a motion to amend
Okay.
your previous recommendation to
Okay.
Tommy.
I would like to make a motion to amend the new non-voting member to planning and zoning to Tommy Grant.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right, so he is official. We have gotten his email and all that good stuff, so I knew who I was doing. I just called him the wrong name. So, we actually changed this meeting, for anybody that's watching, we changed this meeting from Thursday, August 18th to tonight because we wanted to talk about some real estate matters in executive session. And that option is no longer a viable option at this point. So instead of going into executive session to talk about other potential real estate matters for us to relocate while the building is under construction, we would prefer to talk about it in the actual meeting for more transparency. So we are going to discuss a couple options that we have come up with, a list of pros and cons, let you guys kind of think about it, talk about it, see where your guys' heads are with this, and then just kind of go from there. So the first thing that we did is we had looked at, not the first thing, but we have looked at purchasing a house in the village that was actually, we had a resident that brought a house that was coming on the market to our attention, which then we looked at a couple houses that were on the market. So that was one option. We've always talked about the potential of maybe trailers on this site or another site. And the third option would be obviously to lease some sort of commercial property.
Mayor Hughes, just for the record, I think you're getting ahead of the game. Why would we be looking at these options? I think I know, but I don't think the
Okay,
people
no,
on
that's
camera
fine.
know.
Perfect. In the event that we do, in fact, again, that's why we're not trying to purchase something right now, but to know what we're going to do in the event that legislation does pass next week to move out of here. We are going to have to move out of the building and that's been known for a little while, due to the asbestos in the building. So all of the administration as well as the police department will need to move out of here during construction, all of it. So the three options that we looked at was house, trailer, and leased property.
And will
Does
that be for the
explain?
duration of the construction or just for?
Correct, no. It'll actually be for the duration. In order to move, we're talking about the fact that we're gonna have to move everything out of here. So to move everything out of here, move it back and then move it out again, isn't gonna be beneficial after talking to some moving companies. So, if you guys wanna talk about the idea, the pros and cons, I just kind of sent those out. There are many pros and cons you guys can come up with.
Yeah.
And some pros, some people may think are cons and vice versa. But this again is just to get everybody on the same page as to, again, the house is currently not an option. The house that we were looking at, those were the pros. It is not gonna be a pro for every single house, obviously.
Right.
So that's why that is a little outdated, just for the record.
So there is not a house immediately
Currently.
available to Guy. So-
Not that would work for what we're looking at. There is still an option, but honestly, it doesn't fit enough of the needs that it would make sense. And again, we're not trying to do something, just because. So that one, the house that we looked at, just to go over, there was garage storage for maintenance, there was a basement, it was a huge basement that would have allowed us, instead of using storage pods, to use. It was inside the village limits, easy access for our maintenance. You could get a home warranty on it in case of furnace and ACs and things like that. Obviously, it was move-in ready. We wouldn't have had to do anything other than getting the internet and things like that up and running. Server would not have been an issue, getting it in there for safety purposes. The police department would have been able to work out of it. And of course, you guys can see some of the cons. Parking could be an issue. Obviously, the price for some people, you have to sell it at the end of this. There was no space for mayor's court. So there's just a couple of the things. So because that's not a viable option right this minute, I would still like to know what people's thoughts are. It would be funded out of the general fund at this point in time, and obviously, once we sold it, it would go back in. Obviously, I'm not going to say that we are going to make money on it, because no one can say that. So nobody can promise that we're gonna make money on the house or sell the house and even break even. So not gonna go there. So that was one of the options. At the end, I think I'll kind of get everybody's feedback on which one they would like to see. On Friday, on Thursday, 2 houses did come on the market. So this is not an out of question thing still.
I think we need a solution for Mayor's Court.
So with that, if we did do a house, we are looking at moving Mayor's Court. We have reached out to Blendon Township. We've also reached out to Clinton to be able to hold Mayor's Court in there. So those are 2 of the options that we would be looking for Mayor's Court. So let's move on to the trailer. Eric has a lot more information about that. And for purposes, I'm not giving the address to the house or anything that we were looking at. Had that.
Since it's not,
Yes,
it's not a
it's not an
viable
option right now. If
so
it,
it's.
if it comes back on the market or something, at least I'll know what your guys' thoughts are.
Yeah.
Or another one.
I did advise the mayor, and the one thing we can do is she can enter into any contract contingent upon council.
Yeah.
But she wants to obviously know how you guys feel about that particular option.
Well, at the same time, is that gonna fly in most real estate deals anymore? Because of the market?
Yes, it
Is
could.
anyone gonna go where the?
It depends.
Is anyone gonna do a conditional sale if?
The person selling would have to agree to it.
Correct.
It's something that we can propose and offer, have to bring it back to council for approval. Obviously, we can speed up, like anything, they can consider it if they like the offer. They say, all right, we'll move forward, we can bring it back to you for a few meetings and get things done, to proceed in your various ways.
Potentially calling an executive session or something, or just a
Yeah.
meeting pretty quick and early, if it was something that we thought was a great option. And I don't know.
Well, and you know more about real estate than I do, but I'm under the
And-
impression that the market's hot enough now that.
Yeah. And in transparency purposes, again, I would not obviously be using my license for the
Yes.
deal. I'm just saying it, just so it's said. Would absolutely not be, and this would be done through our attorney. So there would not be real estates involved, any types of real estate commissions involved in whatsoever.
Nothing personal, personal.
I just have to say-
I'm wondering, only because people listening, maybe there's something coming up on the market.
Correct.
Is there a specific size, like were there so many bedrooms we're looking at, or specific square footage, or?
I would say this, we did not just look at one property, we looked at 2. The thing that made this particular idea appealing is there were 2 living rooms, or 2 family rooms, or whatever you want to call them. 2 large rooms, and that's what was appealing. When you walked in, you could have admin in that particular area, and then the police department could actually occupy the other large room. And then the bedrooms would then be turned into the office space. This one, again, was a really good option because of the storage in the basement, and it had a 2-car garage. So one of the biggest battles that we're facing right now is, where's our maintenance stuff gonna go, because he needs it. The current thought is a pod. I mean, there's really not much else we can do, because it has to be accessible, you know, through all of winter and all of that. So, you know, there's a lot of moving parts to that. The house, again, was just, it clicked the most boxes. The one that it didn't really click was Mayor's Court, but you're gonna see that again here in just a second. So, potentially.
Real quick point of order, do we want, I think we skipped over minutes, do we want to?
I did not.
Did I vote for that, just forget?
You did.
Okay, my fault then. Sorry, I was looking through the packet and was looking over the minutes.
Mark,
I must have been asleep during that part.
you know, at least you woke up. Okay, so, yes, to answer your question, we did look at another one, and just didn't have that second room. So that really would have made it difficult for us to be able to use. It was still, there was nothing wrong with it. We're not looking for any, you know, updated anything. This particular house was extremely updated, which would have been great to sell it later on. But again, with it doesn't matter, it's not there. But it's something that there were a lot of great options with this that would have made being able to function a lot easier. And I think that was probably the biggest perk to it, is just a lot of the moving parts would have been solved. So today, we were able to get access to the trailers that we have been talking about. This is not the first trailer, so again, just for transparency, we have gone and looked at other options. There was a very minimal cost to one. It did not pan out with holes and things. Yeah, holes in floors and, you know, all that good stuff.
Not well cared for.
Yeah, it was not well cared for. So this is, and I'm only saying that because this isn't the only trailer we've looked at. We've been doing our due diligence on this. So, Chief, Leah, Brian, which is maintenance, and Eric all went and looked at the trailer today. He's got some pictures. That's what these pictures are. This is of the trailer that they went and viewed today. Again, a lot of moving parts when it comes to something like this. All doable. It's just a matter of what benefits you, which way you guys want to go. So I'm going to let him kind of go over this, and then we can talk a little bit about the pros and cons of a trailer.
Thank you, Mayor. Members of council, I'll start with the first sheet, just kind of go through them. So this is your standard school mobile trailer. This is a 24-foot by 60-foot trailer. It is a split trailer, so it can go on the road. It's got two 12-foot halves, and what they do is they bring it to the site and they reattach everything to make it watertight again. Right now, what they've done is when you go to an inner picture, you see this membrane they put in between, so that's to keep the water out, obviously, while it's in position to be transported. These guys come with water hookup, heat, air conditioning. They were used recently for a school. And to give you kind of an idea on size, we've got a picture here. My numbering did not come through in the upper corner, but you've got this one with Chief and Leah. You can see this one. We'll take this one.
24 by 60, right?
Correct. So this is so if you take the next one, then behind it should be the one with Darker with Brian. We had to kind of make we were crawling around to get access to different parts. The guy forgot to give us complete access, but we got into it. If you put those side by side, like this, you can kind of get an idea of how they look. All right, so it's two 12 by 30 rooms. Essentially, it turns into a 24 by 30 room. They've got a demarcation in the middle. We were able to get access to 3/4 of it, and what we could tell in there, and the back two are just like this. You would just put them together and kind of put them upside down, and you get if you were standing in the room looking back and forth from the two sections. Okay, so it seems to be watertight, seems to not have holes, doesn't have things crawling inside of them, good condition. You know, everything looks hook-upable as it is to be brought to site. Each of these, the owner would like, he's asking, he's got two of these actually. They're roughly about 1,444 square feet, I think, each. So a good amount of space. There is one restroom, ADA accessible in each one. He wants $15,000 a piece. If we bought both, we could probably knock him down a little bit. These are, again, assets, so once we were done with them, the upside of these guys is we would resell them and go deals. And I would say you could make back at least half your money on them, right? So just keep that in mind. Each one, though, for a transport hookup cost is about $5,000 to $6,000, and then for each one, whatever site we choose, we have to obviously pay for some hookup from water, sewer, and AEP. So there's additional costs in there as well. So I would say on the safe side, it's, you're looking at probably $9,000-ish per trailer to get it all done and ready to go in each case. They don't need a lot of work on site, which is good. I mean, you can add stuff to them if you need to. But you've got essentially two sections that are 30 by 24. So do you have your hand up, Councilman?
Can I get a better breakdown of the costs of maintenance?
Of maintenance?
Of the trailers, 'cause there's no numbers here.
No, we didn't put numbers on, because we don't know. These are all estimates. He's thinking it's about 9,000 per trailer.
Yeah, so
She's
I
talking
would
about
like
maintenance. but-
Maintenance
But we're also only expecting to utilize these
for
for.
10 to 12 months.
Yeah.
I don't
a year at
anticipate-
most, so a year's
Yeah, I just want to know
maintenance.
what the cost.
I don't anticipate there's any maintenance to these, in the sense of normal physical
So
maintenance.
even
for sure.
hookup, just like all the hookup fees, all the transport fees, I would like a breakdown of all of that, please.
Okay, sure. So, back to my, I'm sorry, I got off track. So essentially, 15,000 trailer, add 9,000 roughly. If you want to make it even 10, that's probably fair, in case there's a little bonus stuff you want to paint, you know. I mean, they're in the condition they're in. So essentially, you're looking at about 25,000 a trailer. We bought both, probably not.
30 with the transport, right? You said 50.
Well, yeah, but
plus
I'm gonna
5
add my hookups and everything like that, so that's why I'm gonna say I'm gonna be about.
Oh, the 9 is the transport and the hookups?
Yes.
Okay.
9, so I'm just making it easy for the math
Yep.
purposes.
So about
So we say
25.
25 each, with some potential sale back at the end, okay? So that's what you're looking at in that regard. I think in comparison, you know, we have a few places those could go, right? So we gotta fully vet that out, that you've got a few places those could go. Mayor has been busy investigating a few different sites. There's pros and cons, and we can talk through the pros and cons of all the different sites, you know, at a later date, you know, if this is an option you want to move forward with. There's commercial options too. They have an office, and I just sent something around. The commercial office is about $42,000 a year and it's a 1-year lease. But the other option, which may be very reasonable, is the site where the 2 men and a truck are right over here. That comes to about 3,400 square feet, and it looks to be in good condition from the picture if we have to go see it. But that comes to $25,000 a year.
Now, is
for
that
lease.
next to 2 men in a truck or 2 men in a truck?
It's second
moving
floor,
out?
so it's a second floor office, we have to go see it, it's not a first floor access. So it's
Okay.
on the second floor, so but it's got offices, it's got space to do mayor's court, to have meetings.
I will say this, I knew someone who worked at 2 men in a truck years ago and had to quit when they had foot surgery because the second floor that they had to get up to is not handicap accessible. I don't know what the other end of the building is.
That was my first question.
We have to go see, but we don't have an officially handicap accessible site either.
Yes.
I'm seeing a short-term
Yeah.
non-issue on that.
But we have one that's, not technically handicap accessible, but not go up 12 steps, not handicap accessible.
Yeah.
Each of these are gonna have pros and cons as we go through the
Right.
process.
And I think that was the biggest thing, is
We have to
making
go
sure
see
that we were pretty open about some of those. On the trailer, is there gonna be an additional cost to get a ramp going up to it as well, into the stairs?
It's a good call, it's a good question on that, and that's where I would add my extra grand that I was talking
Okay.
about, because that's where that'll come in, when you've got to do an improvement on the front end.
Okay.
So,
So we would need to add something along those lines, get it cleaned. I'm just gonna be blunt and say there is absolutely no way I'm working in Michigan colors. We're gonna have to paint that, because everybody knows how I
Those
feel about
aren't
yellow.
Michigan colors, those are
Sorry.
Well,
Ukraine
mustard.
colors.
Anyways, I'm teasing.
I gotta tell you, that's a super low priority for me.
Okay, I'm painting it myself.
All right, that's fine.
Won't keep up.
We are not appropriating any money
Jason
for.
can paint. I've seen it.
Now, the leased property, were you just looking at, I'm sorry, I'm interrupting.
You're,
you.
no,
fine.
you're fine. Ask questions.
Leased property, is that, you looked
Let me
at
go
one
over
or
it.
two?
Let me go.
Do they got any room in 2999? Because that's in the village.
Does not have any space, he has been very successful in leasing out his spaces.
Okay. So the leased property is, I have actually talked to 2 different commercial real estate brokers, and there's no other, he did not give me 2 men in a truck as an option as well, but we also did tell them that we were looking for elevator or first floor.
Okay.
So maybe that is why. So in the 43231, the other thing is short-term leases are very difficult. He has pointed that out a couple different times. But the pros and cons for the lease property, I'm just gonna say it, the lease property is across the street over, Can I say the address or no, or
Corporate
should I
Drive.
do it yet since we're not?
Corporate Drive.
Yeah, it's over on Corporate Drive. So it's less than a half a mile from the
Yeah,
village.
very close.
Plenty of office space, there's obviously plenty of parking. On the trailer, that was gonna be one of the pros and cons, if you guys look at that. Let's go back to the trailer, and then let's go to Lisa. You skipped a spot.
Yeah.
So,
Sorry,
as.
I interrupted
and I'm-
you. You said go ahead, so I took us off course.
I think we can probably simplify this discussion.
Okay, what do you wanna do? I'm
So-
only saying pros
so-
and cons for people
Yeah,
watching.
yeah, no, I
Okay.
understand, but I think that our biggest issue is time. Right? Because assuming that when we read the legislation next week.
Right.
Assuming that passes.
Right,
And I believe we are intending to pass it as an emergency.
yes.
Right? We are then on the clock to be able to have administration operating in another place.
By mid-September.
by
to end-
mid-September.
End of September.
So the idea, most of these ideas are time.
Yes.
So I think what we should really be focusing on is the things that we can accomplish in what amounts to 3 weeks,
3 to 4 weeks.
3 to 4 weeks. I don't think we're buying a house in 3 to 4 weeks.
Not unless we find one tomorrow.
I think it is,
Even then, it takes a month.
well, I mean, there are things that can be done to move it faster, but if we weren't in contract
I don't
on,
disagree.
On the
No.
26th, it's unlikely we're in
I
a
like
house
your
in
way.
time.
Yeah.
Right? I think that even if we were to buy these trailers tomorrow, establishing a place and getting water, electric and sewer hookups in 4 weeks is unlikely. So no matter how much I don't hate either of those options, I just don't think that they are feasible.
Okay.
Right? Does anybody, I would love the idea of buying a house and
We did too.
it seems like in this market, it would probably pan out well for us. We could even, depending on financial situations, get creative with it. There's lots of opportunities there. I just don't think I don't think we have the time.
Well, I'm glad you said that because this is a lot of work that I put into it to come up with the exact same answer. So then let's move to the leased property. The leased property is move-in ready, not move-in
So-
ready. We would want to clean the carpet, I'm gonna be
Sure.
honest.
So
That's
the
what we
only thing I
did.
would circle back on
Okay,
is, I would like to be 100% certain that there are no feasible leasable properties within the village.
okay.
Provided that's the case, then I would just look for close and valid.
So to answer that question, and I will triple check it because it changes daily.
Sure, sure,
So
sure.
in fairness, I don't want to be on the record by saying that was the one thing that we had looked at to start with.
Yeah.
2999, as much as people don't want to hear that, that was,
Oh, are you
that was a
kidding?
first.
I was hoping.
I know you
That's why.
That would have been the most delicious thing to happen to me in a long, long time.
We know that, that's why I was like, I've been doing a praying dance that it's not available.
Well,
I'm just kidding, I'm totally kidding.
My prayers are counteracting yours.
I know, so we're fighting each other and maybe we're not benefiting the village, so maybe we need to stop.
It's okay.
So yes, that has been, those things have been looked at, to the point that, again, we've had 2 different commercial I'm not saying there's nothing, I'm saying that there's either too small, meaning less than 1,000 square feet. So to go through this really quick then, again, for the record, the building is secure with 24/7 access, there's space for our server, it's within a half a mile of the village.
This is
We-
on corporate drive.
Yeah, as far as we're concerned, or as far as we're aware, we do not have the lease in front of us, so I'm speaking on what should be in the lease. If the AC went out or furnace went out or anything like that, that's gonna be on them, it's not gonna be on us. If a roof leak, anything like that, it's not gonna be on us. So it makes the most sense without having maintenance issues on top of, which was a concern with the trailer, just saying.
The
Now,
trailers were also 50 grand.
And the annual lease on the corporate drive
was about $42,000 for the year.
And what was the one that, someone said there was another leasable property at 25.
So that is-
Is that what you meant?
That's right down here.
Yes.
And then
That's not-
the other one, since I have access to the online
Yeah.
databases, the one that's over here, which got the 3 garages, is also available. It's a bit more, you know what I'm talking
Which,
about?
no.
If you're at Ponderosa and you go to the north on the drive, it's got a 3-bay garage. It looks kind of like a steeple church. It's right next to the Korean
Yeah.
church on the other side.
Okay.
So it also has up to 10,000 contiguous spaces. Now it's a little more expensive on the, looks like it is about 1350 per square foot. So just do some math on the size of square foot that you want there. So 1350 times,
That comes,
Will they do a one-year lease or do we know?
well, I will have to ask him. So if we took 4,000 square feet, maybe some of that is bay, for storage, that's about 54,000 a year. That could be a viable option.
but it solves a lot of problems.
It does.
With bays for maintenance
does.
equipment, it's on the service drive. Is that
You can ask him.
DeRosa? That is not the village, though.
No.
It is not, the city of Columbus.
But it's
Correct. And this is not, I mean, again, the one we're looking at is also
And
not.
the corporate drive, did you say it does have space for maintenance? It does
No,
not.
it does not.
So
What do we do with that?
then you
That's
have to
the
rent a
challenge.
Okay.
Yep.
Right, so of the three in front of us, we have one that we believe is not, it's second floor, not accessible. We have Corporate Drive, which sounds like a reasonable price, or is a slightly less expensive, but we need additional solutions for maintenance equipment. Or, we'll call it Northland Plaza Drive, and it seems to check all the boxes.
We'll investigate that tomorrow.
Yes.
So that would be the
Quick
direction.
question on that for people who aren't me, who don't care, because I only make $150 a month. If you're working in Columbus, you're gonna be paying Columbus taxes and Minerva Park if our offices are there.
I wonder. if
So
we
that's
can-
gonna be a 2.25% tax
We'll have
rate
to
for
see
any
how that
employee.
works.
that's-
We'll ask Jeff.
Maybe, I don't know, I mean,
It's an interesting question. I know we have to pay City of Columbus, but we no longer work, we're not, those of us who are not residents in the village, unfortunately,
Pay both.
the mayor would have to pay both, because she gets their
Okay.
salary in that, so that would work for, should pay both.
but if you're not residents of the village, you don't have.
No, once we're beyond the day.
I had forgotten that.
Yeah, we don't have to worry about it.
Wonder
So
if we can like
technically-
consecrate the land and like make it an embassy, so it is
I don't think Columbus likes that.
technically Minerva Park soil. Hey, I think it's
That's very good question.
it's worth investigating.
We can always ask Brian.
So another thing that I'm just thinking about is that we have talked about a maintenance building option that seemed like it would go up relatively quickly. We are heading into the winter season where the lawnmowers and stuff are not gonna be used. Maybe that's not even an option if we can get that maintenance building up before the spring.
So two things, we have to do a little investigating on the buildings. If we get everything into the buildings, then that would be good. I would like personally a little more time to work on maintenance buildings, I'm sure council would, to give us a little more time to move things around. So the building where 2 Men and a Truck are, by the way, depending on the space, and we have to call upon that one, but they have a lot of office warehouse space too there, and so they do have docks and things like that where you could, they do have internal storage. So we'll check that out as well.
I would, yeah, so I'm not, again, not opposed to that, provided that the space is accessible enough,
Understood.
right? Like, if there's no way to get a wheelchair in there, we're probably out. That would be my opinion on that, right? Like, while this building is not accessible, you can get a wheelchair in here, it's just a greater effort than
Yeah,
the ADA allows.
Yeah, I got you.
And as far as that is not an issue with this one. I mean, it's a
Right, At the
typical
Northland Plaza Drive, is what you're talking about.
corporate.
Corporate Drive, yeah.
Yeah.
Corporate.
Right.
And we have reached out to Northland Plaza as well, so we haven't really heard anything back from them. So as soon as if we get any information from them, it looked like there was some space over there, but
None of the,
That would be really great.
none of the storefronts in that furthest south, strip mall, they're all
Yasmin,
full up? No, not Yasmin, the
which
furthest
one?
one,
The very first one?
the furthest south.
When I went through there yesterday, it didn't look like there was any available. The
And
only
then
one, I shouldn't say that.
One storefront's gonna give you not enough
No.
room for everything.
You're gonna need a
What about that
large.
old office?
You would need like,
on Columbus Square?
yeah, like the Yasmin size or.
Did you just say Columbus Square? There's been 3 shootings there in the last month, I'm
We knew
out.
each other, it's different.
No, I'm sorry.
I heard that Denny's is available.
Chief's probably
Yeah,
yelling
or
at
that
me.
Denny's, have you looked at that Denny's? I bet you.
I am not, no,
Denny's would
I'm
be
not.
nice Too, but,
No. I mean, maybe it would help if the police department was there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I figured.
I'm sure it
Kill
would.
2 birds
Yeah.
with 1 stone. We're, John, I'm like, I'm gonna get in trouble for this conversation when this is over. You guys started it.
I'm just thinking outside the box.
Okay, I'll keep that one in the box. And for the record, I actually do go in there and get my nails done in that shopping center, so I do.
No, I guess it is full, but I was just looking.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is.
It's the one with the across.
So without continually, I know we could probably talk in circles, we let Brian talk.
Yeah, so
Brian
I
does
must.
agree with, Brian pretty much took the words out of my mouth from earlier. But does anybody else have any thoughts that they are not interested in moving? And again, we're not, so I can do a letter of intent. It does not hold anything other than getting the lease moving forward. You guys would be
Oh.
approving the lease? Which one?
What about the funeral home on Cleveland that's been vacant for ages?
I don't know that it's vacant, because I will tell you, there have been people there every single day that I've gone past there. And
I do not. I think no one's going to be, there's two reasons not to be comfortable, if I may. One is it's definitely the use of formaldehyde, it's an environmental hazard. You don't want to put your employees in there.
Yeah.
Two, people have issues with places that use death, as the business. So.
Not
Some
me.
do, some don't.
Not me. I don't have any issue with that, so.
But I have seen a lot of cars going in and out of there, multiple throughout the day, and I don't think they're just viewing it. I have a feeling it's full.
That's
This is temporary electric hookup, I think they're doing something.
I think they're doing something, yeah. I feel like somebody's purchased that. So I reached out to the number on Steak and Shake, and the email that I found, and they've not, getting people to respond has not been easy.
We can probably lease that, but I will tell you, it's a
Yeah.
kitchen. It's going to have to be very messy. It's going to require a decent amount of cleanup.
Yeah.
So.
No, we've reached out to them, and again, I think we're saying that on here just because I know residents might have these questions, why didn't you try this, or why didn't you try this?
Yeah.
We have tried to reach out to the Steak and Shake building owner. The funeral home was one that we had actually, that I had thought about going and looking at, but the only reason I know people are there because I've been paying attention to it.
Yeah.
And they have been there quite a bit over the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Cars parked every morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any apartments available that seniors 55 plus, we could rent that
No.
apartment? Look, I'm just looking at the map here, coming up with, anything that's available.
You know what? I appreciate that you are thinking outside the box. I will give you
There
that.
is no box.
Okay.
Yeah, just
Yes.
keep it closer in the box though, please.
The other option is there is 6,000 square feet available at the Northland Center, and we would not be the first government entity to rent retail space and turn it into some type of usage.
Northland's, hold on.
Yeah, there's,
Where's that?
it's the plaza right here, sorry. The Northland Plaza, so the old mall.
Oh,
There's-
So that
Yeah, no,
was,
I
see,
don't-
Yeah,
we've
the
reached
Market
out.
Plaza.
Why did you reach
Yeah,
out?
with the-
Which unit is it?
I'm looking.
Because that's the one that I reached out to yesterday.
Who did you speak to?
No, I haven't had anybody call back yet. But I just did that one, but no, I might not, it was Saturday.
Yeah, since I do this from a professional standpoint, let me call them and I'll get better information for you.
So I guess what I would say is that with the priorities being available within our time frame.
Correct.
uh,
Willing to do a year lease.
willing to do a year lease, ADA accessible, and checks off as many of the boxes
Correct.
of, we can use it for our police, we can use it for our administration, we can use it for mayor's court, right? If all, that's it. And then, the numbers of dollars that we've been talking about, none of these have made me pucker. So.
No,
I think-
we've tried.
Yeah.
I will say
Yeah.
we've spent hours upon hours
Yeah.
going through options.
So someone else is welcome to say it differently or, share a
Unless
different
we're buying
opinion.
a house, because that'd be 300,000, but in this market, if you have it
What's
for
our
a year,
budget? We need a
you're
budget.
probably gonna get 300,000.
I
But you
think
can't.
in this scenario,
The market could
we
crash sometime.
are subject to the market and don't have the luxury of all the options, right? Like, we can be super picky with a budget if we could rent anywhere and anything, and then,
I think we should establish a budget too, though, instead of being like, what's it gonna cost, and then like.
Well, there's no reason to believe we can't get this leased property at the price that we've already said, because we've already talked to them, we've already done all of that.
Those are
So
listed.
I would say, but like he's saying, if we could get one right there as well, that would suit the needs for one more thing, including maintenance, which is
It'll save
obviously a
money.
huge issue. In the long run, it's gonna save money. I know this is going a little step above and beyond, but we have been talking to moving companies and we have been talking to pod rental places, and a moving company that would include the pods, and I'm not gonna go into detail on any of that yet. We're still you know, a lot of them don't want to give us firm numbers until we can tell them where we're going.
Yeah, where you're going and when, right?
so
Because
yes.
those are the two.
Two major things, but we are in contact, just so you guys are aware of what we're doing behind the scenes.
Are we, is the plan to move all of our furniture into the new space, or?
I'm gonna say this nicely. Probably the tables, yes. The chairs, I would hope not. And don't take that wrong, but these are about as old as possible.
Not these chairs, but these chairs.
All of the above. But I'm not,
Are they anything special? Because I don't want to be that person that throws away Dean's chair by mistake.
well, and I think the other part to that is, you know, is it something that we would sell to one of the companies? Is it something that we would sell it online? Is it something we're just gonna throw away? No, we probably wouldn't throw them away. I mean, so we would potentially be looking at selling it, but as far as desks and things like that go, yes, we are planning on keeping as much of that. Some of those desks are only a couple years old. So no, we're not trying to be, we are trying to be frugal when it comes to things like that. Now, there are some desks that are probably from the, what year do we throw a number out? Yeah, I mean, we have some desks that
Those
people
are
work.
probably real wood, then,
Yes,
right?
we probably have some that don't match anything. There are a couple desks that match, but as far as that goes, most of the furniture does not match each other, but they're in offices. So for the most part, we will be, file cabinets and things like that, we plan on taking with us. We plan on using those just as they are. We are not, at this point in time, planning on buying new anything. I think the chairs are probably the biggest thing that we're interested in, getting some that maybe match. But maybe not. So yes, how much storage do we need? I don't know yet. That's,
Very particular about chairs, and these chairs, I mean, I know they're not nice or new or good looking, but they're perfectly comfy to sit in.
no, yeah, they could be worse.
Yeah.
Lots worse. So, does anybody have any questions as far as those go? Does anybody want to say anything about the three options?
To Stacy's comment or question about setting a budget, I think
Yes.
we could certainly have an informal agreement of a not more than X,
Great.
right? I think the highest least number we've heard thus far is 52 annual.
Yeah, but, so I just want to point out, that's depending on it's a per square foot.
Oh,
So,
yeah,
right, so
Yes.
6, and then the other one here at the mall is you're gonna get your 6,000 square foot times 12, so the highest number, so we have that on the record, would be 72, but that may include being able to put everything in there for a given day. And again,
Okay.
those are negotiable starting points, right? In
So-
those year's not gonna get you much down. Now, the mall, for all intents and purposes, have temporary leasing situations, they're used to that. So they may be more negotiable than, say, an office space.
We might even, be able to negotiate something shorter than a year without an
Yeah.
awful rate.
Correct.
Because the sooner we can get out, the better we are.
Correct.
Better off we are.
Right.
And the Skiratorium does it, so why not us?
That's right.
Right.
So what's the range of per square foot that we're talking about? Because commercial leasing is per square foot.
It is. The range typically is, I would say, $12 at your Northland Plaza. It is roughly $12 at the building with the 3 bays. The cheapest one is the $650 per square foot over here at the 2 Minute Truck Building. And then the corporate lease it's the most expensive because it's full office. I believe it was $18.95. I think it was a triple net. Some of these other ones are full service to modified grocery, which means they incorporate more of the costs.
Right.
Yeah.
So why don't we, for Stacy's comfort and just general back of the envelope, maybe we say we are targeting as close to that $12 a square foot
Yeah.
as is possible. So that we
Okay,
are,
whoa, you're not figuring it correctly. I'm gonna tell you it this way,
Okay.
$12 a square foot, but I would set it as a total because
Okay.
he's talking 6,000 square foot at $12. We're
You're limited.
talking,
You're limited by each of what's
Yeah, no matter
available
what.
market, so that's the
So,
problem. So you're not gonna
this
get
is
less than
42.
6,000.
The only reason I'm saying it is
Oh,
because
yeah,
the
but
only
no
one that we
matter-
have confirmed is $18 a square foot for 2,200 square feet, which does suit our needs.
All right.
6,000 square feet.
so what's that?
Without the maintenance
Total
square
that
feet.
was
Well, it's
42?
40, I'm saying I would set it as a total dollar number versus a square foot number because,
I would
See,
say-
and that's why I am less comfortable with setting a number
I
anyways,
agree.
because I think we will close ourselves off to good options.
I agree, and we can still, so what I'm gonna say is, we're still gonna present you the options, I think.
Absolutely.
And you guys can make the decision at that point.
and we're
I
not
think
gonna
that's-
do it via
right.
email. I mean, it
Stacy,
has to be in
you've
public.
heard a few more numbers. Are you,
I just want numbers on a page, I'm a numbers person, this is like, I need
Yeah,
numbers.
yeah, well, we're not to that point yet, but the range that
Yes.
we're talking about at the high end was 72,000 for a year, for enough room to do all of our stuff and maybe a roller,
Right.
That's fine.
right? And then on the low end, it was 25, but that was.
May not include anything.
May not include anything.
May have extras that you need.
May need
to add on.
pods and may need a
I
shed for
understand
storage
that.
equipment, there you
Yeah.
go, so,
I just want a number and I want to know what that number is and what that
yeah,
includes.
when,
Because my brain doesn't just remember random, like,
yeah.
overall things, like, I need details in order to understand it, in order to remember it. So I need
We'll-
somebody to show their
We'll
work.
put it all in front of you when we have
Yeah, when we
something.
get to a
In a
decision.
timely manner.
I'm gonna tell you, my hope and plan is we would go see a couple more properties this week, as long as we can get into them. Get you guys some numbers. I have no problem emailing them out. Obviously, I don't want, conducting business on there, but emailing them out for your guys' reference. And then having some of the decisions made around the same time, assuming that council passes the other, because I don't want to, obviously, we're not going to do anything before that's done. That said, if we can do one of these for 2 or 3 properties, we will. With price per square foot, how many square feet, what boxes does it
Yep.
check?
That's perfect, I want that, yep.
Perfect. If
That
we
is
can-
not an
if we
issue.
can aim for that for Thursday of next week. that would be-
Here's what I would like to do. Be done with this on Thursday.
Perfect.
So, no, if we don't have it, at some point, we have to do something.
Yeah.
So if there are no more viable options, we're going back to, this is what option we have.
Yep.
Yeah, right, that's,
Terrific.
at some point, you've got to cut bait and deal with what you got.
Yeah,
Yes.
time, then money, then
Yes, I agree.
extras. Yep.
Okay,
Okay, so I think we've done that. Legislation.
Actually, before legislation, I know it's not on the agenda, generally don't we have citizens' comments?
This not on the agenda doesn't, you don't have to have citizens comment.
yeah,
It's up to
that's,
you.
so, our regular agenda for a regularly scheduled council meeting includes that. This is a special council meeting.
Okay,
As such, does not follow that format.
I was just gonna bring that up, is all. All right, then we get into legislation. So our first legislative item, ordinance 24-2022, an ordinance accepting a certain bid from Weaver Commercial Contracting, Inc. for remodeling and construction of the Myrna Park Municipal Building and declaring an emergency. This is a second reading. This is for the big remodel, tear down, all of that of the community center here and build back up of it. Current bid price is $3,153,000. Second read, anyone have any comments on it?
Yeah, when, are we supposed to have a discussion at some point on the options?
Could
Well,
we?
yes, and the problem is this is switched on us and the attorney's out of town. So we'll have a discussion by legislative committee, since that is still Thursday, to my understanding.
Yeah.
And we'll
Well,
have
not Thursday of this week, Thursday of next.
Thursday of
Oh.
next week.
Do you
So
want to
we
switch
will-
that then?
We will get,
I totally messed you
okay.
up. Or do you want to do it this Thursday legislation? We moved it to the 18th because instead of the
available.
25th and I did that.
I'm available too.
I'd rather go with the 18th. I have something the 25th, I don't want to.
yeah, and actually, I'm sorry, next week, just for our own schedule, I'm out of town for the 24th, so this week.
Okay. So, yeah, so Thursday this
Legislation.
week, we're still in legislative committee,
At
I was
6:30.
gonna be here.
Yeah, I'm out.
6:30?
Well, is that what it was?
6:30.
It was at 6:30?
All right,
Are you
perfect.
good with that?
Works for me.
It's still on Thursday. Okay,
And that's where we're gonna discuss.
We'll discuss the
Okay.
alternates and we'll have that ready for you.
perfect. Thank you. Everybody did get,
Although looking at the calendar on the website, it is not on there yet, I don't
we
believe,
will make sure it is
for the 18th.
at 6:30.
Is it on there?
It's wait, we had to wait for signatures and not everybody's here all at the
Okay.
same time, so it's in process.
Okay,
It'll be on
awesome.
there tomorrow.
I just wanted to make, I just
Legislation.
like that.
Legislation.
Certainly, thanks.
Yeah,
Legislation.
yeah, legislation.
All right.
Okay, resolution 2022-20, a resolution, authorizing a contract with Buckeye Lawn Barbers for leaf pickup. And this is our third reading. It looks like we are going to enter into, in possibility, a contract with Buckeye Lawn Barbers to come haul our leaves away as they have done in the past and other companies have done in the past. The cost of the program is $28,000. Anyone have anything to say about that before I call the vote?
So you have to move, you have to make. a
Well,
motion.
yeah, I know, but make the motion. I move that we approve that.
Second.
She seconded before your.
Stacy seconded it.
Okay. And- Sorry, I'm fixing my thing. Okay, Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Koss.
Aye.
Councilperson Bruger.
Aye.
Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Okay.
He was given a thought there. He's like, I don't have any leaves in my yard. I'm not sure.
What are leaves?
Yeah.
Okay, moving on to resolution 2022-22, which currently I still have August 25th on my thing twice.
Did
I don't
we
know
fix
if
the
it-
date on that to the 18th, the lakes?
No, it's the.
Is it still showing the 18th?
2022-22 has double August 25th.
Oh, that's right.
Instead of August
Then
15th.
just amend it to be passed tonight.
That's, we'll vote for passage tonight, and then the form that you sign just
Yes,
needs to
we
be
gotta fix it.
updated.
We
The
will.
one when you sign it.
Beautiful.
Oh, gotcha, 'cause that, yeah, that is the third.
Yes.
Okay, a resolution authorizing the mayor and fiscal officer to enter into contract with Jacobs Engineering / CM2H Hill for the 2022 Lake Master Plan proposal and declaring it an emergency. This is, of course, coming up with a plan for how to fix our lakes. At a cost not to exceed $75,000. And this is a third reading, so I'm going to move that we pass this as an emergency so we can get moving on it.
Second.
Moved and seconded.
Question.
Yeah?
Yeah,
Go ahead.
So, I happened to, have a conversation with that Aqueduct guy the other day. Matt, I think is his name, that owns it. And so he asked me about this, we were talking about this for a moment, and I'm just curious, does their company do anything like this? Was that an option?
They do services.
They just do
Yeah.
So this
services?
is
They
a
wouldn't do
major
any type
engineering,
of-
no, it's
Yeah.
very different, this is special stuff.
Yeah, none that I'm aware of.
Because he seemed awful curious about the whole process.
Yeah.
You can bid for the work, but we made a lot of work coming.
Right, right.
done with that.
And they probably do maintenance and things like that on it, but
Right,
it was,
okay.
yeah.
This get engineers out taking soil
Right.
samples and depths and
Hydraulic.
charting the lake bottom.
All right.
Okay, I think we're ready for a vote.
Council President Wolf.
Aye.
Councilperson Camera.
Aye.
Councilperson Koss.
Aye.
Councilperson Bruger.
Aye.
Okay.
All right, now we have a first one, okay. Resolution 2022-24, resolution authorizing and approving the execution of a contract with Flowline LLC for inspection, cleaning, and video recording of certain sanitary sewers. Cost shall not exceed $30,000 without further approval by council. This is just a first reading.
This is the second reading, isn't it?
No, this one's first.
Okay.
Well, I don't know, 'cause August 11th,
Okay.
there's another one of these where it says August 11th, August 25th. So I guess this is a second reading.
We didn't
It
do
should
first
just-
on that, no. We'll make
It
sure
says
that
there was a
the
first reading on August 11th.
No, we did not,
Okay.
because I just did it.
All right, sorry, Barb.
And then, just
First reading.
just just to mention this, this is something that we will be discussing for streets. This is just the first reading to go over where we're at, what we're doing, and we have not discussed this in the actual committee yet. So this is why we're just doing first readings, no emergency, no anything. I want to make sure that this is exactly what they wanted to do, but I wanted to get the reading started.
Okay, and I seem to see the problem here. I think I might have just the old packet. These are all meant for a meeting that was supposed to be next week and not today, and that's why I'm
It's fine.
confused.
We
All
want to
right.
make sure dates are correct on everything once this is over. I'll make
Yes.
sure that we have them.
All right, moving on to resolution 2022-25, a resolution authorizing and approving the execution of a contract with Flowline LLC for inspection, cleaning, and video recordings of certain storm sewers. This sounds very familiar.
One is sanitary, one is storm.
One is sanitary, one is storm. Thank you. I did not hear that difference when I read them. This one's not to exceed 51,000. Also a first reading.
These are scheduled maintenance?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, so, what we
Very
take,
much so.
what we do is we were doing every single year.
We have a rotation.
We have a rotation, we do a different section. Sanitary, we're getting ready to start all over again, and storm, so yes, each year we do, yeah, like a seventh of the village, and
Right.
it's heavy cleaning, they televise it, if there's issues or problems, they bring back and say, this is what I would recommend fixing. Since we have already done the major repairs, these ones should be pretty light as we go through here.
And these
Yeah,
are
fingers crossed.
Yeah.
budgeted, these are budgeted and,
Every year.
yeah, and they come out of the funds that are already
Yes.
put aside. so-
Yes, these are budgeted every year. The issue this year was, because of diesel fuel pricing and things like that, the amount that we were quoted was definitely higher than what we budgeted for. So, you guys may even need to see some appropriations and things like that over the next, by the time the next meeting rolls around. But again, I want streets to be able to talk about it first.
I just think it's good to say it when we have
Absolutely.
such high-ticket items.
It is.
but
Mhm.
It's nice to know that we
Yes.
planned for this.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
are,
this is part of the strategic budget, so.
Good, you got me,
Yeah.
no,
Oh,
absolutely.
no, good for the record.
Yes,
Although this year, as the mayor said, there might be some additional appropriation, meaning, oh, when your job is to stand next to a truck that's idling for 8
Right.
hours.
On diesel.
When gas,
Okay.
yeah, when gas goes up,
Right.
yeah,
cost of the business goes
I'm
up.
good.
absolutely.
Got it.
All right, old business. Does anybody have anything for old business?
Just a reminder for our meeting on Wednesday.
Okay.
With the Jordan Road Park Lane residents to discuss our plans for the Jordan Road project and discuss their kind of options, so everybody's on the same page.
Okay, so I have a question about that.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we turning that into an actual streets meeting? Will we have 3 or more members? If we have 3 or more members, it needs to be a meeting. If we have less than 3 members, it could just be a meeting with residents, which
I
is
believe it
a,
was just a meeting with residents. I will be there, like, Flickinger will be there just for,
so are you planning on attending? Are you planning? Because that's, I mean, that's important. Yeah, if we have a quorum,
It's forward.
4, yeah.
Four is a quorum, but
Right.
we've always posted committee meetings as well.
This isn't really a committee, this,
Yeah.
yeah, I
Right,
think that's the
but
problem.
I think the.
I don't have a problem
are we
posting.
Just post it.
Just post it?
yeah.
Better to post it and,
Yeah, you want everybody to know what's going on. I mean,
Oh, it's being posted online and everything too. So that wasn't the thing. I just didn't know if we could post it and not have,
So is that when we're
I'll be
making an
there.
official streets committee meeting for Wednesday?
yes.
Okay, what time is that?
7, 6, hold on.
I think it's a 6.
6.
And that'll just be here?
I passed all the flyers
I
along.
believe it was, is it here?
Yes, it is here.
All right, because I was gonna drive to Jordan Road.
No, it is here.
It is at 6 o'clock.
Because if it's a streets meeting, I need to be here because I'm on that committee. If it was not, I might not.
See, that's why I was trying to determine if it's a meeting or not.
Yeah, if it's a meeting, I'll be there. If not, I'll probably flake out.
Okay. Any other old business? Any new business? Ryan?
move to adjourn.
All those in favor?
Any opposed, abstentions? Let's get out of here.
So are you guys still planning on the meeting Thursday?
No. Okay, right, cancel it right now. We switched it.
I tell you, keeping up with you guys is a full-time job.
Well, this was a full-time job on this
We
one.
have
What's
other
this mean?
full-time jobs.
I mean, if-
Yesterday. We actually did post it 24 hours ago yesterday. And if you go back and watch it, you'll understand why, in fairness.
There's nothing fair about it.